Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Dar back again from TGN.TV and myself. Kind of like that intro a little bit better than hello, interwebs, which is what I hear a lot of people calling people who watch vlogs or vlogs. Alright, so anyway, we are back. I'm trying a little bit different software, apparently it renders and records and everything at several different resolutions. I tried the 720p, and it just, with this camera, I guess, it just made it way too laggy. I mean, it was really bad. So I went one notch below 720p. So hopefully this is better, and then hopefully here very, very soon I can get a new webcam. All right, because like I said in my last video, this one is an old webcam, old Logitech webcam that I've had I don't know how long. Matter of fact, I don't even think I've ever used it. I think it was just sitting in a drawer for at least the past few years. Alright, so anyway, figured today, see, I think I talked about it a little bit last time, sorry, here, opening my notes here, in my last video, that wanted to talk a little bit, how did I get into gaming? How did Dar start gaming? We already discovered where Dar came from the last vlog. So take me a while to get saying that. Alright, so anyway, and then I'm having a really bad hair day today. It's just really crappy. I'm thinking about cutting it again. I usually buzz it all off. I don't know, getting old, you get that bald spot going, so maybe I want to try to cover that. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, so anyway, I started my gaming career, I guess you could say. Oh, I was, I don't know, 4, probably about 4 years old maybe. And at my grandparents' house, they had a console that was called an Intellivision. This is back before the Atari came out. The Intellivision was, a rectangular box. I mean, this thing was huge. And, the game slid inside of it, and it had these paddles that came out of it. And on top of the paddle, it had numbers on it, basically like a telephone. And then at the bottom of the numbers, it had a flat disc. And it had two buttons on each side of the controller, and the cord coming off of it looked like a phone cord. And what you would do is you would open your game box, and inside each box would be your game cartridge, and then these little cards. And these cards would slide over top of this number pad, and that would tell you, what button did what for the video game. So I played that for years and years. I don't even know how long I played that thing. I played it every chance I got, when I was out there at my grandparents'. And I think my favorite one on there was Burger Time, which was you had to go up these little ladders to these little platforms and run across and eat the top of the burger, or eat the top of the bun and make the bun fall down to the next part of the burger until you made all the burgers topple down to the bottom of the screen, and it made a hamburger. I know, it's pretty retarded when he's there trying to talk about it, but that was my favorite game back then. And then I ended up getting an Atari. I had the very first Atari. I don't remember what they were called. It was before the 2600 and the 7600 and all that. It was the big console with the big metal switches on it. And used to play that all the time. Played a bunch of different games on there. I remember one, it was Pole Position, Indiana Jones. I think my favorite one, that was a game called Laser Blast, which was had these little tanks, or what was supposed to be tanks. There used to be three of them come out along the bottom of the screen, and you'd be like a UFO or a flying saucer, and you'd fly above them, and they'd be trying to shoot you down, and you got to shoot the tanks before they can shoot you down. I used to spend hours upon hours upon hours playing that game. I loved that game. So then the Nintendo came out. The first Nintendo. I remember the year it came out. That was the year I got one. Everybody had to have one. At least, at that time, oh my god, I gotta have a Nintendo. Gotta have a Nintendo. What do you want for Christmas? I want a Nintendo. And that was the year everybody got a Nintendo. I didn't think I was gonna get one because, I came from, we weren't rich. We were, just barely getting by. And my aunt ended up buying it for me. I was like, woohoo! I was all excited. Got my Nintendo. Plugged in Mario. There's Mario on the screen. Alright, what'd I do? Okay, this button moves me. Right into the first turtle. I must have died 50 times on that first turtle before I ever figured, oh, look, I can jump. Excuse me. And, I mean, I loved that game. That game was awesome. And, I think one of the games I really liked was Ninja Turtles. The Ninja Turtles came out, and that game was awesome, you know. And I think I had some X-Men games that were a lot like it. It was really cool. I really got into the, what do they call them, the side-scroll games now. But you could move up and down the screen, which was cool. You could have two players, and you could be on the screen at the same time, which was awesome. You know, you could do the co-op. It was really cool. I loved it. Couldn't get enough of it. I mean, just Ninja Turtles. Let's go play. I used to go to my buddies' all the time. What do you want to do? Let's go play Ninja Turtles. Dude, we can beat that. And another one was Double Dragon. I remember me and a friend of mine, man, we spent hours and hours before we finally beat Double Dragon. We wouldn't do anything else. And then after we were done, we were bragging, we beat Double Dragon. Oh, you know. So anyway, moving on past that, you know, then Super Nintendo came out. There was a few games on there I played. I think most of the time ended up playing baseball games. Can't remember the exact name of it, but it was a baseball game. Me and my friend used to spend it all night. We used to sit up playing this damn baseball game. And it was kind of like, it was a weird baseball game too. It wasn't like, you know, Major League Baseball 2009 or something like, or well, what, 89 or something. Can't remember the exact year. Man, it's been a long time. But anywho, it wasn't like a regular baseball game. You have your batter down there, and of course, you know, he'd bat the ball. But what made it interesting was your pitchers had different powers. You could throw all kinds of different pitches. Like you could throw a pitch, and the ball would like split into like 4 different balls, and they'd have to hit the right ball, or the ball would, you know, go woo. You can make loops through the air, or it would go really slow. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff they would do with the baseball, and we would spend hours trying to trip each other up on this thing. Alright, so, you know, moved on past that. You know, there wasn't really much on it. Sega, I played, you know, the 3 Vikings from Blizzard. There wasn't really a whole lot in there, you know, I played. I mean, Castlevania was on Sega. Matter of fact, if I think about it, I think Sega came out not too long after the Nintendo, maybe a couple years. And then the 64 came out. Now, by the time the 64 came out, I was pretty much getting out of the consoles. I did get into the PlayStation 1. I bought the PlayStation 1 when it came out. That's when I discovered Final Fantasy. I played Final Fantasy 7. It took forever to beat that game. Oh my god, it took forever to beat that game. And, I mean, I had that game. I guarantee you, I had Final Fantasy 7 for probably 2 years before I ever beat it. And I couldn't figure out why. Because, you know, I'd get so far, and I'd come up to this boss, and I don't know if somebody might remember the boss. The boss was basically a wall with a face. And it would just constantly be punching me in the face. And I never could get past it. So eventually one day, I mean, after that, I'd done beat Final Fantasy 8. I'd beat Final Fantasy 9. And I was in a gaming store. It's probably, okay, I got naming names. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a gaming store. And I seen a strategy guide sitting there for Final Fantasy 7. So I was like, alright, I'm buying this, and then I'm going to beat this game. So I bought the strategy guide, took it home, opened it up to where, you know, I kept dying. And then on my way there, I kept noticing, I haven't been here. I haven't been to this spot. I haven't done this. I haven't done that. I skipped probably 4 or 5 quests, or questing things in the story, I guess, that I'd somehow skipped over, which gave me the experience and levels I needed to beat the stupid wall. So I had to start all over. I started all over the game because, you know, in the area I guess it was in or whatever, I couldn't get back out. You know, I was stuck there at that spot. I didn't have another save point. So I started all over again, went back, did these quests I'd always missed. I don't know how the hell I missed them, but I'd always missed these areas or whatever it was. And I stomped the hell out of the wall and ended up beating the game eventually. I never had any more. Well, okay, I had strategy guides, so anyway, so I moved on from there. PlayStation 2 came out. I was playing, the Final Fantasies, a bunch of stuff. But the really cool thing that ended up happening, though, about the time of, I'd say, the Super Nintendo, the computers, my dad had a 486 computer. And, it had the Super VGA graphics. So, this thing was the shiznit, at least back then. Like the word shiznit was back then. So, he had the original Warcraft game. I used to play the hell out of it. It came on those little, I think, 3.5-inch floppy disk. And then we had Doom 2, Ultimate Doom. Those were the first-person shooters. Those games were awesome. I loved them. We had Wolfenstein 1 and 2, which were, again, first-person shooters. They were about, I think, Nazi Germany. Those were really cool. I liked them. Commander Keen, which was kind of like the computer version of Mario, which is really cool. You'd have this little ray gun. It was really cool. I liked that. And those were my first computer gaming that I'd gotten into. Now, after the PS2 came out, and I played Final Fantasy and all those other games, but that was pretty much about it. I pretty much left the consoles and switched over to the computers. I continued playing a lot of games on the computer. Civilization, I really got into the strategy games. Went from Warcraft 1 to Warcraft 2, Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, Warcraft 2 Beyond the Dark Portal. Yeah, they had enough expansions for that one. And Diablo came out. Now, I'd say Diablo 1 came out before Warcraft 2, I do believe. Because Diablo 1 was my first online gaming I ever did. I think it was the very first BattleNet they ever had, that Blizzard ever had produced. And I loved that game. I used to think about, I go to work. So let's see, how that would have been what, 20 years? No, I don't know, like 16, 17, 18 years ago, something like that. I'd go to work and I'd be thinking about Diablo, because I'd just be like, okay, now when I get home, I'm going to go to this part of this dungeon. I'm gonna do it online, and then this is how I'm gonna try to get through this. And I loved it. And then you got involved with with other people that were playing. I really enjoyed it, with the exception of the fact of, every once in a while you'd run into somebody. Oh, dude, let's go here. I can show you how to get through here. Oh, okay, cool. And then you'd get down in there. You'd get your ass kicked. And they'd take all your shit. Because in that game, when you died, you dropped all your loot. Or everything you had on you dropped to the ground. So then the other guy would pick it up and leave, and then you're screwed. So, besides that fact, I really enjoyed the game. It only had 3 classes. It had the Warrior, Wizard, and Rogue. Those were the only 3 classes in the game. They were standard male, female. Couldn't change anything. Couldn't change the appearance. If I remember right, there was very few items you actually picked up changed the appearance of your character. So then Warcraft 2 came out, and I was playing it, and really got into that. Got into the online. Playing against other players, doing the custom maps. It was a lot of fun. And then Diablo 2 came out. Oh man, I played Diablo 2 probably 4 or 5 years I played that game. Especially the online portion of it. New areas, new monsters, new classes. They improved the game dramatically over, Diablo 1. It was an awesome game. And that was one of those ones that I basically got addicted to that game hardcore for a long time. So, Warcraft 3 came out. I played all the Warcraft 3. And then when Warcraft 3 came out, when Warcraft 3 was out, that's when the World of Warcraft came out. And I had never played a MMO. Not a real one. Besides, Diablo is as close as I ever got to an MMO. Excuse me. because all I'd ever, because I know what Eve Online was out at that time. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law both were heavy into Star Wars Galaxies. There was a couple others. I think Dark Age of Camelot, I believe, was probably out at that time. But I didn't give I didn't care, because I refused to pay a monthly fee for a game. That was just retarded to me. I mean, okay, I gotta buy the game, and then I gotta pay you money each month to play the game I've already bought. That just sounds retarded. And it really didn't. It kind of still does. But I understand now what I didn't understand then, which we'll get into that here in a few. So, World of Warcraft came out, and I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And it'd been out probably 3 or 4 months, I think, when I finally said, screw it, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to try it. Because I picked it up at the store, and I noticed on the back of the box, it says you get to play for 1 month for free. So I figured, okay, I can buy it, I can try it, and if I don't like it, or if I don't think it's worth the $15 a month to pay this stupid ass game, then I can throw it away. I can throw it down. I don't need to continue. So I bought it. I took it home, loaded it all up on the computer, getting ready. Because the only reason I was ever going to try it was because it was Blizzard, and it was World of Warcraft, or it was Warcraft, and I played all the Warcraft. I played damn near every Blizzard game ever created. So I wanted to give it a shot. I was really, really interested. So got it all loaded up, and it said you have to start your subscription or whatever. Like, okay, so I went in to do my account information, and said, please add credit card. I said, what? I didn't have a credit card. I didn't even have a debit card at that time. So I was like, shit. Now I can't play the game. It won't even let me have my free month until I put something on it. So I'd already bought this game. I'm already into what, $50, I think is what they were at the time. Already into it, $50. So at that time, I lived in a somewhat small town. I mean, they had Walmart, Kroger's, they even had JCPenney. But they didn't have a game store of any kind. And there was nowhere to buy, because I found out, you could buy those prepaid game cards. And there was nowhere around to buy them. The closest place to buy a prepaid game card was 2 hours away. So I think one weekend, me and my wife and my daughter piled up in a car, and we drove 2 hours to go get a stupid game card so that we could try this game. So we came home, I got it all loaded up,